Today's our guest is a mother, author, and a professor. Her name is Pavithra Giridharan, and she has written a book, Gallivanting with Ganesha. This book is about stories for children and gives lessons on courage, kindness, and wisdom. She wanted to do something meaningful for children, and that's how she came up with this book. Uh, Thank you, Pavitra.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Uh, Before I ask you anything, I just wanted to know the motivation behind getting this book out. Uh, I remember asking my mother when I was a kid, "Hey, ma, I'm hungry. Can you get me a food?" And she'll cook food for me. And sometimes I'll ask her, "I need clothes." She'll get me some clothes. But if I ask her a book, she said, "Okay, I'll buy for you." But I think that's not the case in your situation. You give them all everything the children ask, and I think when they ask for a book, you might have said, "Okay, let me write one for you."
Well, it would have been nice if I had finished writing it a long time ago,
Uh-huh.
because by the time I finished writing it, my kids are way older than when I
Oh.
started writing it. But I do hope other kids can use it. So,
Mhm. But what was the idea? The initial thought. I understand from your writing that it was a desire to do something meaningful for children.
yeah.
Uh, but besides that, was there a hidden motivation that I have to do something that would be remembered for?
I don't think me being remembered was the
Mm-hmm.
idea. That was not at all. That
Mm-hmm.
was not something that I was even thinking of. I'm still not thinking of it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when my kids were younger, I felt they didn't have a lot of books on Hindu gods, Hindu mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know I shouldn't be saying mythology per se,
Right,
but
right.
but that's what the common man knows, and they refer to as mythology, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
So when we used to, I read with my kids. I love reading.
Mm-hmm.
So we read Percy Jackson series and Harry Potter. We read everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember even as a kid loving Egyptian and Roman. And I loved Hindu gods and the
Mm-hmm.
stories.
Mm-hmm.
I used to devour Amar Chitra Katha when I was a kid. I really
Mm-hmm.
loved any book that I could get
Mm-hmm.
my hands on, I would read. But when it came to chapter books, I found that we didn't have representation. We didn't have kids who had, like, if they couldn't pick up a book that
Mm-hmm.
was an early reader, like a middle grade chapter book, that means it's less than 20,000 words.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a lot of chapters, but small chapters. We don't have books, a lot of books like that,
Mm-hmm.
where the child is a part of the story. The child, we have I'm not saying we don't have any chapter books. We do have chapter books,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always a narration in the sense Ganesha did this happened. So there's always a narration to it.
Right.
There
right.
is no involvement of the kid in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what I tried to bring in, is because when my kids were young, I read The Magic Tree House, Magic
Mm-hmm.
School Bus, and those are very interactive. The kids just get engrossed in it, they get
Mm-hmm.
so inspired by it. So I felt, why shouldn't we have something like that for
Right.
our Hinduism?
Right.
And we have so many gods, they
Mm-hmm.
have so many different stories, so many lessons, and so many things we can learn from it, which was what motivated me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I originally never thought I'd write a book. So,
Really?
so let's be clear on that. I think when my kids were young, I thought maybe a picture book. I was very interested
Picture
in maybe a
book, okay.
picture book.
Uh-huh.
It's for younger kids. Then they got older, then I got out of it. And then I met somebody, his name is Prasad Karpaji.
Uh-huh.
He is the founder of Indic Wisdom. He's in California.
Okay.
And we know him, and he had come home, and we were talking about Amish Tripaঠি's the Shiva Meluha trilogy. We were talking
Mm-hmm.
about, because I like books like that, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
historical fiction and mythical fiction. I really like it. So I was talking about how the kids didn't have anything, and he's like, "You should write."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "What?" I'm not thinking about writing a book. And he said, "Why shouldn't you write?"
Mm.
So it got me thinking, and I was like, yeah, why shouldn't I? It's not like I don't know English. I do have a background in English literature from my undergraduation. And I thought, how hard is it to write a book? Well, it's really hard. So that's something I realized. It's extremely hard to write a chapter book, a children's chapter book. And after this process, I think my appreciation for authors is phenomenal.
Right.
Like every time I pick up a book, I'm like, I know the amount of time that has gone into it. So my God,
Yeah, no, definitely, it's a lot of time and effort, and
Yes.
I think patience. Another connected question that comes to my mind is why you chose Lord Ganesh and not a Krishna. I think your name has a Krishna, Giridharan.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
So
but
that I'm just curious. That
so Ganesha is my favorite god.
oh, okay.
I have umpteen murtis of Ganesha in my house, different, and he has a lot of forms. You have him with multiple hands. You have him playing the veena. You even we do golu in India. So it's
Yeah, I'm aware.
yeah,
I'm
Navaratri
aware.
golu.
Yeah, the staircase.
Yeah, we have the
Yes,
staircase,
yes,
and we do it during Navaratri. We even have, like, I don't personally have, but I've seen Ganesha cricket set. So Ganesha is he's very versatile.
Yeah.
So, and also he is the god of obstacles. Like he removes obstacles.
obstacles.
He's the
Yes.
remover of obstacles. So I said, well, I need to start. He has to remove my obstacles as we start on this path, because this is a series. It's not. The idea is it's not one book.
One book. Okay.
It is a series where these kids go and meet different gods. So every book is going to be about one god, and then 3 or 4 stories about the god. So that is the plan.
That's something interesting.
Yeah.
So let's come to the book now. Who is Neil and Maya? Is it your children or?
They're not my children, but I think there may be traces of my kids in them, because I needed real people to base things off. So they're not, definitely, the idea was not that it's based on my children, but people who know them can see some, that was acting like that's probably like your daughter, but that's not what the idea was.
Okay. Good to know.
And my kids are not named Neil and Maya.
No, I'm just curious.
No, but it's a good question. And also, I spent a lot of time thinking of the names for the 2 kids. I wanted the names to represent a Hindu background. But at the same time, it's pretty simple and easy for anybody. So it doesn't have. So you don't have to be from an Indian or a Hindu background to read the book. Anybody can pick it up. And Neil and Maya seem to be very popular names. So after I wrote this book, there were like so many kids who were named Neil or Maya who picked up the book. So
wonderful. So see, Ganesh is also my favorite god, and the reason is different. Every time there is a Ganesh Chaturthi or some kind of celebration, my mother would make some laddus and modak.
Yes, modaks.
And that was my a favorite thing growing up. Still today, but that time was different, I would say, and I could relate to the god through food.
Yeah.
That was my introduction. But that's a beautiful thing. So another question, all these stories, that is a creation of your mind, or it has some kind of reference to our Hindu scriptures?
It is all stories that are taken from our Hindu Puranas and Itihasas, so more Puranas because it's Ganesha. And I did ask somebody to even vet it to make sure these are the right stories. So that it is based in the actual stories we have, but I've given it a twist. So in the sense, the twist is...
So kids can relate to it.
Yes, and both the kids go into a story and they become part of the story. So they actually change. So they might become animals or characters in the story. And they help Ganesha in this book reach whatever the original conclusion of the story is. So, for instance, we know the story of Ganesha getting his head.
Right.
So the story is there. But the twist is, how are these two kids integrated into the story and help become part of the story, and so they can relate to it.
That's interesting. And who are the target audiences? I mean, I understand kids, but are you targeting any specific age group?
So this is for 6 to 9, 10-year-olds. So 6 is if they are good readers. They are usually, I have found 7-year-old kids like it a lot, 7 to 8. But I've had parents read it to their 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds. I've had 11-year-old kid love it. So it's just, but I had parents who said it took them to their childhood. So I'm assuming I've had adults say that. So I'm grateful for that. So,
what time, like, how do you manage your time while writing it? Did you write consistently, or you found some specific time in a day that works for you?
I wish I was more consistent. I'm trying to be more consistent with the second book because I think consistency helps. One of the reasons why I think it became 8 years is because I was not consistent. I would wait for it to come to me, and then sometimes I did it, and so I would not even touch the book for 2 months, 3 months, because so I think consistency would have definitely helped, and I'm hoping for it in the next book. I usually write at night because that's when my brain works best. And I started initially writing it in a book by hand, and it was not the optimal way to do it. So I had to.
Our ancestors did it.
I know, but with Google, and it's easier to have a document. I do work on it. I can go back, edit it. So, and anyway, I need to have it in a typed format. So it's interesting. I started with that, and then I moved. So I write on the computer. So
I think that's today's world.
But it works, and I really value Google Docs. So it's very helpful because you can see what version you had, what version you currently have, you can modify anything. So it's helpful.
Most of the children book, they have a deep meaning, or specifically the stories that can be applied to adults as well. So my question is, which one is one of your favorite stories from your book, and what is the message?
So I don't think I have a favorite. Okay, so this is one of my all the stories here are something close to my heart, and I have tried. I don't think, well, in Hinduism, all stories anyway give us some kind of a lesson. There is an embedded lesson in it. What I have tried to do in the book is try to bring those lessons through each of the stories, and also try and bring some basic aspects of Hinduism in the story itself. So, for instance, in one of the first stories, Maya asks about the bindi, and so there is a reasoning given as to why we wear the bindi. Very basic reasoning. It's doesn't go into a lot of depth. But there are so many kids who might be thinking that or wanting to know that. So I have tried to embed things like that. So another one that I had is, and I know I've had this as a question when I was growing up. Why should I, I pray to God. The Asura demon also prays to God. How come he's evil and the God gives him his book? Right? This is a question or a thought process, logical question. So I tried to answer that. So, for instance, in this, the second story on Gajamukasura, Neela asks, Ganesha, why did Lord Shiva give that wicked demon such a powerful boon? A boon where he cannot be killed by either man or animal, and that no weapon can harm him. This is not going to end well. And then Ganesha explained, we gods answer the prayers of anyone who prays sincerely, even asuras like Gajamukasura. He prayed to my father, Lord Shiva, for many years with great devotion. So my father rewarded him with a boon. So, like something simple. This is logical, right?
Right.
And then it goes on to talk about In Hinduism, we believe that everyone is good, whether they are gods, asuras, or humans. Sometimes people let greed, anger, or pride take over, and that's when they make bad choices. So I tried to bring it in. So then Maya says, "Oh, good to know that if we pray sincerely, God will answer our prayers." See, that's the message, right? We
Right,
pray,
right.
God is going to be there with you.
Mhm.
That's our belief.
Yeah, that's beautiful, I think. But do you ever encounter, I don't know how you can experience this, but there are multiple characters associated with all the stories.
Yes.
And do you ever get like kids confused about them, or they have multiple questions like, oh, so now this is Ganesh, okay, this is Shiva, then now this is different character we are introducing in the story at the same time.
I've tried to make it as simple as I can, and I've not brought in a lot of characters so that it is not confusing them. So in the first story, I introduced them to Ganesha's family. So his mother, father, and his brother Muruga. And then we went on to talk about the mango story. You know, the mango, he goes around the world, mango story. And in that, I brought in the concept of vahanas. So, because that's a very integral part of our gods. Every god has a vahana, right? So, little by little, I introduce characters. And so, the good thing is, Shiva is now in chapter 2 or whatever, in the first story. He comes back when we talk about how Ganesha got his head. Then Parvati comes back so the kids can recognize and go back. Oh, we know this character. So
that's nice. I think they will remember that better.
So I haven't brought in too many characters, just enough to keep the variety, but at the same time be true to the story.
Okay. And another very I would say serious question, or maybe a demand. This is for the specific age group. I think you mentioned 7 to 11 people.
6 to 9.
6 to 9.
Yeah.
They are enjoying it and they can relate to it. But I think there is a bigger purpose or cause I would like to mention here is there is a time when these kids they grow up to the level where their intelligence almost gets hijacked by their hormones, and they have some kind of different way of seeing things. Maybe they develop their own mind, and especially in the United States, they are tend to do certain things in certain way and certain age. Do you plan to write something for that particular stage of their life? Because I have experienced that when they reach at that stage, most of them they go away from the Hindu roots.
So I haven't thought about it that far, but my belief is if our roots are strong, we're not going to go far.
Oh, that's a very optimistic
way of
looking
at it. And it's, I think I have seen it in kids where the belief is there. So yes, teenage years is the time for exploration. They are going to explore, but with that background and those roots, I think they're more cautious, or I wouldn't even say cautious, but they're more aware of what are my choices. Am I making the right choices? I think it's there. That voice is there. I'm not going to say they're going to listen to that voice all the time, but that voice is there in their head, and that's because of the roots, and that's because of the foundation that they've had. So I personally am not. I've not thought that far because I've just gotten to finished writing one book, and I've started my second one, and I have a lot of things to do, but I don't know. I know there are a lot of people who are doing workshops and things like that for that age. Where, again, by that time, they're not reading books. Unfortunately, when they're young, they're reading. By the time they grow up, they're watching things. They're probably into anime. So maybe something in anime will entice them.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
In India, I think there are a lot of this cartoon movies that come in.
Yes, I know. So that's possible, but I don't know. I know I'm being optimistic, but I would like.
No, I like that. I like that spirit.
I want to think that.
I like that spirit. If anybody wants to walk on your path and write a book, would it be what would be the ideal steps that you will recommend, because you learned through several steps now. You're like a experienced writer, I would say.
No. But so my journey is unique, but I have learned a lot about publishing, which I did not know about before. I know I did look into self-publishing on Amazon, which is pretty easy to do. But I did go with Garuda because they are more for Indic authors and their focus is on Indic authors. They are in India. I went there because I wanted an editor who knows my content. So when I was looking for editors here, they don't know the story. So they can't give me the, oh, this is how it sounds. So I needed somebody who knew the information or the crux of the matter before they could help me out. So that was one of the big reasons I went. I was trying to look for just editors, then I was looking for publishers. Garuda, just somebody knew somebody, so we knew them, so we figured I would go with somebody who was dependable. And then what I found is one of the things that I realized now recently is when you go into self-publishing, if you're doing it through Amazon, a lot of the independent booksellers don't want your book.
Oh, really?
They don't want, because they don't want to be associated with Amazon. So if you're going through Amazon, many independent booksellers may not, like any of your bookstores, they may not take your book.
Because any specific reason?
They feel Amazon is poaching on their territory.
And
so they don't want to take, so if they have, so Ingram is a wholesale book publishing agent. And even Amazon, you can put your books on Ingram. So even if you self-publish, you need to put it on Ingram, only then many people can access it. So the independent booksellers, but they tend to look down on Amazon. They don't want to deal with Amazon. So
that's a good finding.
Yeah, so something I found out. But then how much are you going to sell through an independent book publisher versus Amazon? So these are all things that each person has to.
And this book is available in Bharat also?
Yes, Amazon India, as well as Garuda. And I think Flipkart also.
Interesting. Yeah. And I think that's a good for,
Yeah, and I like this, the way I did it, because the publisher took care of putting it on Amazon, putting it on Ingram. I did help them, or I talked to them back and forth, but I didn't have to worry about it. So that was one less thing off my head.
So how is your second book is coming? I think you just mentioned it's a series. Can you a little bit talk or elaborate on that?
I haven't written too much. So I am now deciding on which god.
Okay.
So but the thing is, I've started with my plan, so I know what's going to happen, and I have a format. So now that I've got into this spot, I now know, oh, this works, this doesn't work. So I have an idea, and I have 2 or 3 options that I'm pursuing simultaneously, because I don't know what's going to work. So I'm thinking of a few, which gods would kids like, which gods. So I've been asking around, and let's see. So I think it just has to, I have to sit down and something will come. I'm hoping for that.
No, I think it will, and all strength to you. So once that is out, I think definitely it will continue as a series.
So.
See, writing is something my personal experience, the addiction kind of. It gives me space where you relax and you feel like there is some creativity is doing that, not you. That is my personal experience, but I could be wrong. But how is your experience with writing? It just happened to you. You mentioned you never wrote anything, and then suddenly you come up with a book.
So it did. I worked on it. So this was it was 8 years in the making. Usually doesn't.
Wow.
No, but there are many reasons. I started writing it, then I felt really sick, so I pushed it away, and then I came back to it, and then when I did open it, finally I started writing it. I did have an interactive element initially, But again, I went back to what I knew, which is the narration.
Mm.
Ganesha does this, the kids are saying this, all of those things. And then I do have to thank my daughter for this. I shared the book with her. She's an avid reader. She was, I think, 14 or 15 at that point, and she looked at it and she said, there's no plot. In the sense that there is a plot, but what is the struggle? What are they working towards? Where is the reward? So then I had to go back and revisit everything. So I had to start from scratch all over again. And that's when the idea of the kids actually being part of the adventure came to me. So I do have to thank her for that.
No, but definitely your journey is kind of inspiration to other mothers, I would say, or writers in our community. Thank you for sharing your book. I wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask another thing: where people can find this book from?
So you can find it on Amazon, Amazon US, Amazon India. Garuda is my publisher, so they have it on their Garuda America and India. Barnes and Nobles is now carrying it. So I actually just had a Barnes and Noble signing event in Nashua. So
congratulations!
Thank you. So you can find it, and I think the other day when I checked, Walmart is carrying it. So online. I think my publisher did put it on the wholesale book Ingram, so many people have picked it up. So.
Very nice. I'm also going to put the link for Amazon and other links that I get from her after this.
Amazon is the easiest way to pick it up. So
great. So definitely it's going to add value to the kids.
I hope so. I truly hope so. I've been getting good feedback. So
that's great.